Hello and welcome to the Temple Podcast, where the feminine is remembered, revered, and reborn. I'm your host, Kasia Diana, womb health and wellness guide, mother, mystic, and woman walking the sacred edge. This is your sanctuary for all things woman, from blood to birth, sensuality to stillness, grief to glow up. Here we don't hold back. We soften, we rise, we speak truth like it's holy. So, light your candle or kick off your shoes. You're home now. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Temple Podcast. I'm your host, Kasia Diana. I am a womb health and wellness guide. I love to empower women through holistic care and holistic choices. So let's begin. Today's episode is Your Cycle is Sacred, using your hormones as a superpower. It's because you weren't meant to feel crazy, you were meant to feel powerful. And in today's episode, I am really looking forward to sharing the 4 phases, why syncing to your body's natural rhythm is important and helpful, and how to build a holistic care toolkit. So let's begin. You have 4 phases in which you cycle, in comparison to your male counterpart who cycles every day, 24 hours, and then repeats. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And women, we are every 7 days approximately. And each 7 days, we move into a new cycle. So let's start with the bleeding cycle. You bleed for 3 to 5 to 7 days. Okay, that's your 7-day cycle. You're feeling very quiet, very powerful, withdrawn, needing to recharge. Okay, then you're moving into your follicular phase. In your follicular phase, you are going to be a little apprehensive, a little impressionable. The window's just a little bit open. The window was shut when you're bleeding and now it's just a little bit open. That's your second phase. You're feeling apprehensive, a little impressionable. Then you're going into your 3rd phase, ovulation. The window's fully open. You're excited. You're feeling sexy, energetic. Life is just big and open. And then you go into your luteal and you start to feel a little more introverted. Going into that introversion, you're withdrawing. You are feeling very emotionally intuitive. So it can be a little intense for people around, but PMS is not real. It's not a syndrome. You're not crazy before you bleed. You're highly intuitive. And in fact, these emotions were called into circle with tribes and communities and asking the women who were about to bleed and bleeding what their dreams were about, because they were highly intuitive and actually regarded as very important for being able to hold the sacredness and energy of the entire community. So those are your 4 phases. And when you plan around these 4 phases, you can really create a good flow for your life, your work, and your nourishment around them, your relationships. I put this all, by the way, into a menstrual cycle. If you're interested, just message me. I'll send it to you. I feel like everyone should have it. It was published in my book. You can buy the ebook. I might have taken it off my website. Just message me. I'm so happy to share all this information about the menstrual cycle, where I just took old information and put it into a chart. I received this information when I was living so closely with the sun and the moon in my yurt, having, water from the bay, going to sleep with the moon and the sun, waking up with the sun gazing, skinny dipping. My life was just very revolving around the sun and the moon and the earth. And I learned cycles. And then I just started living my life according to this way. And then I found all this information in literature and I was like, oh, this totally is complementing all of the things I was thinking about, all of the things I was working. And so it gave me the literature to this life, and it's so cool. So anyways, once you understand your cycle and you plan your life according to your flow, right, then you are in cohesion. You are in this respectful inner and outer biofeedback system with yourself and your world. And when you sync to this, why is this important? Why do you sync with your body's natural rhythm? Well, when you sync with this, it is the ultimate act of rebellion. in a world that expects women to be the same every day. We cannot be the same every day. This is, I think, where people get all, I love men, just to preface, get all into like hatred of the patriarchy. Like, I'm all down for patriarchy as long as there's matriarchy, because it complements one another so perfectly, right? And so it's just, first of all, rebellion, because this whole world is kind of set up that way. And I think slowly we are creating, more work environments and life environments that respect both aspects. And it's so important because when you sink into this body's natural rhythm, you create flow, you create ease, you create a life that is just so fun and amazing. And so many great things happen when you are living according to your cycle. And the best way to build this life is creating a holistic care toolkit, but also understanding your cycling and really practicing rest. So there are inner and outer seasons to life, right? There's winter, spring, summer, fall. It's the same thing with your herbs. You got to cycle your herbs. You've got to cycle your seeds. You've got to cycle your rest. Sometimes you're feeling really energetic, so go do all the things. And then the next week you're feeling much less energetic. So honor that. It's kind of like, you don't host a party while you're bleeding, right? And you start to create ritual and routine, and you start to create understanding that you have inner seasons. And when you honor your cycle honors you. And that's just emotional intelligence as a woman. And understanding that your cycle is so sacred, that your hormones are actually a superpower. You're not crazy. You're not crazy before you bleed. You were meant to feel powerful. You were meant to have these emotions so that everyone in your environment can get checked. Okay, so that everyone in your environment can be nurtured and nourished if they understand the potency and the depth of who you are as a woman and what you have to offer. It's such a gift, such a gift, because, and I've been doing this for like 16 years, because when you address the highly intuitive emotion that they label as PMS, but we don't do that here, right? That highly intuitive emotion is so intense. Perhaps it's rage. You're like, just so ragey before you bleed, and everyone in the house is tiptoeing on eggshells. It's because certain needs of yours are not being met. When you're bleeding, you're supposed to be resting. Are the people in your home cooking instead of you? Are the people in your home cleaning instead of you? Are you being honored as a woman? Your hormones are literally a cycle for the household, for the community. And it just depends on how you claim that and how you use that to your superpower. Are you claiming your cycle as sacred, or are you claiming your cycle as bothersome? Okay, you are not a bother. Your cycle is sacred. Use your hormones as a superpower, because you were not meant to feel crazy. You're meant to feel powerful. That's all for today. I'm your host, Kasia Diana. You can find more information on my website at kasiathetemple.com, and also at my IG handle on Instagram, Kasia the Temple. So much love. Listen to the rest of the episodes on the Temple podcast. I love hearing from you. Message me anytime. Feel free to email me at Kasia, and let's start a conversation today. Let's get you into some holistic wellness as a woman. I love you lots. Have a good day.
You've been listening to the Temple Podcast. May something in this episode awaken what is ancient in you and remind you of what was never lost. If this episode has moved you, pass it on. Share with a sister. Leave a review. Let it ripple. Until next time, stay sacred, stay sovereign, stay rooted in your knowing. This is the work, and you're doing it beautifully. Mwah.